Hey, welcome to It Resolves episode 8. We are here just having fun.
Yeah, it's been a good
fun
day.
on Sunday.
It's been a good day.
I'm
reason
Kevin.
always laughs, by the way, the reason Kevin always laughs at the beginning of the episodes
Yeah.
is we dance like idiots to our intro
Yeah, we
song.
do.
And for the last few times, I've just been dabbing at the end.
Yeah. It's pretty great. Like, just so you guys understand how we record this, we have two separate audio tracks.
Yes.
One is the intro song.
Yep.
And one is us, which we record on. And so we just let the intro play just because we like hearing it.
So we hear it,
and then we sort of come in when we feel like it.
Yeah.
And I usually yell, hey, pretty loudly. Hey!
But yeah, that's Kevin. I'm Will.
This is It Resolves. And we are here. Yeah. What was the name you came up with?
Sunday Funday? Filler Funday?
Filler Funday.
That was it.
Filler Funday. Where we just kind of pick a topic and we talk about whatever we want. Yeah. But before that.
Oh, right.
My favorite named segment.
How could I forget?
The Kiki-Weekly.
I apologize.
Which we've only done one of these before. We do this every Sunday.
Yeah.
It's just a fun combo. It can be an actually competitively viable combo like Splinter Twin when it was not banned. Or just a fun combo that we found. And this one I think is more just a fun one. Maybe Commander viable, but
talk to me.
Basically the combo is made up of these two cards, okay? Viral's the Scar Striped.
I already love it.
Which is a very cool legendary creature from Dragon's Maze.
Yeah.
One, a black and a green for a 2/2 legendary.
Okay.
Each creature card in your graveyard has Scavenge, and the Scavenge cost is equal to its mana cost. Now, if you don't know what Scavenge is, it basically says you get to put +X on target creature, where X is the power and toughness of the creature that you're scavenging.
Super cool mechanic.
So, very cool.
Weaker than Dredge, which is Golgari's first.
Yeah, definitely. But that was sort of the Golgari mechanic of the Dragon's Maze Return to Ravnica sort of set. And the combo is with Death Shadow, which is very big in Modern right now. But
huge,
if you do not know, Death Shadow is a 13/13
crazy
for 1.
Crazier!
Doesn't make any sense without its effect, which says Death Shadow gets -X, where X is your life total.
I see.
So for any of you Modern players out there, Suicide Death Shadow is definitely a thing right now.
Yeah,
it's been
huge.
Jund Death Shadow, Abzan Death Shadow. They're floating around everywhere.
There's so many different variations of Death Shadow that can maximize it better or worse depending.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Death Shadow is just sweet.
So in case you haven't put it together, the combo here is if you have Viral's out on the field and Death Shadow in your graveyard, you can scavenge for 1 black and add 13/13 to any creature on the field.
Seems okay.
So that seems pretty good. Obviously, that's a high damage output, and that's really what you're going for here. It's again, it's not super competitively viable, but it is just a cool combo. This also works with Phyrexian Dreadnought. Which is roughly the same. It's an artifact for 1 that has 12/12 and some effect you really don't care about because you're scavenging it, so it really doesn't matter.
Good point.
So, a very cool little interaction there.
We'll aside, Kevin, real quick here. I ran Viral's and Gerard. Or no, excuse me. I ran Viral's and a bunch of Gruul stuff.
Okay.
Would use the Blood Rush.
Yeah.
Say on like Rebel Belt Malka.
Okay.
Or whatever. And then scavenge them away in the same turn to get
that's smart.
6 on like one dude.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
I like it.
Jund aggro. It was really too slow to be competitive, but it was pretty fun.
Jund aggro that wasn't aggro.
Yeah, so it's way too... Because that in and of itself costs 5 mana to give you down 6. And then you also have to have Viral's out.
But it is an interesting interaction. You can Blood Rush and then scavenge. That's pretty cool. Yeah.
There's a bonus combo.
So we will be ending later on with a Crack-a-Pack, but until that happens, we picked a fun topic.
Yeah,
one that's close to my heart.
He loves it.
What's the topic here, Will?
Kevin, the topic, likely the title, we'll see, is why is blue the best?
Because it is. Every other color sucks.
Well,
that is not true. No.
Yeah.
There are a lot of reasons, right?
With Magic, you really enter a a sticky, slippery slope. What alliteration? A sticky, slippery slope when you talk about what color is the best, because they each are tailored to do different things, right? You've got red, who is pretty much aggro all the time at your face, no holds barred. You got green. Wait. Okay, now I'm aggro. At your face, no holds
do a
barred.
bunch of big stuff late game.
Gain life. I hate you, flyers. That kind of stuff. But like with blue, we'll get into it. But blue is kind of makes and breaks all the rules.
Yeah,
it's nuts.
I think you just we'll touch on that later, but you just made a really good point. And for those of you who maybe think we're just sort of doing this because it's just silly. Notoriously, blue actually is just the best color.
Yeah, it is. It gets played the most in every format.
And that's not to say that it has to be your favorite or anything. We're just saying that notoriously blue decks tend to be the better decks, especially in the Eternal formats like Legacy and Vintage.
Or decks that at least run some shade of blue.
Right. Blue is pretty much everywhere in those formats, and they tend to be the formats where you go to see, okay, what is the best color, or what are the best decks. And so just disclaimer, we're not saying if you think any other color is the better color, that's fine. We're just going with what notoriously is the best one. So I think we'll start off with just mentioning that interactivity in blue is sort of what makes blue tick, right? Like, you get to counter stuff. You get to say, no, you don't get to play that.
Yeah. How did you word it? Permissions?
Permissions is really what it comes down to, because blue is a very controlling color generally.
The only one technically that actually gets to say, no, you can't do that.
Yeah, and obviously it's not the most fun to play against.
Definitely not.
Notoriously,
as Kevin's buddy, I'll say that no, it's not as much fun. I have a rule, and it's my personal rule that I keep tucked in my wallet and read it every time I'm deck building, and it's don't play control with your friends.
I don't have that rule.
He sure does not.
But it is one that should be enforced. I just choose not to go by it.
Suggestion.
Blue is really the color where, somebody plays something, and it's instead of just playing it and setting it on the field, they sort of ask, do I get to play this?
You'll be like, Ragtusk?
Yeah. And it's like, well, wait a minute. And even if you don't have something, you just sort of like, you hold it for a second and pretend like you do, just to make them think
about it.
It's really where the mind games come in.
Totally.
And the further back you go, the more you can really see, I think, how blue is that way, and how it got its start. But as it's fairly obvious now, blue is my favorite color. I play it as much as possible, and I think it's just the fact that you sort of get to decide how the game goes. 90% of the time, if you're playing it in that way. I like that. I like to control the game. I like to see how it's going to go and then make it the way I want it.
And then change it. Right?
Yeah.
So kind of piggybacking off that, it's permissions and whatnot. Blue is generally a very mana efficient color. So that might be a little bit confusing at first, but I'll give you an example. If someone wants to hard cast, I don't know, Blightsteel Colossus or something, an 11/11, that's a monster. Blue for 2 mana, where someone just tapped 11 mana, can just say nope.
Yeah.
Nope. Psych. Nope. And if it's a blue-red deck, they can say nope, and then do a bunch of other stuff. Right.
And I think you make a really good point. In addition to that, you leave up mana most of the time. Yeah. You don't play during your turn most of the time. You play during your opponent's
That's
turn.
not where your strength is.
Yeah. And so, you get to sort of leave up all these different answers and then pick and choose the ones that work.
Yeah, a lot of it's threats. Its threats are cost efficient as well. A popular one right now that's making its rounds, it's about to rotate out eventually maybe, is Thing in the Ice. Thing in the Ice is sweet.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool card.
And it's really cost efficient.
Yeah.
It's, I believe, 3 or 4.
It's only like 2, I think.
Is it 2? Well, crap. I gotta go buy some.
Yeah.
No,
I mean,
Thing in the Ice is great. You put it down and you just wait.
Yeah.
And you just counter things and remove counters from thing in the ice.
Yeah, or burn people out, yeah, do something like that.
Throw a bolt at one of their guys, remove things, and then it flips and turns into a kraken.
Yeah. I mean, it really is ridiculous, and like, I think specifically what we just touched on, the fact that you can sort of put it in different decks, right? Like,
totally.
We've been talking in terms of control, but you don't have to build a control deck in blue. You can build stuff like an aggro deck. Yeah. And if I believe 2 episodes back we talked a little bit about Pauper, modern blue or mono blue aggro is like 19% of the meta right now. It's the top deck. I believe it just won the last Pauper tournament, and I mean, you get access to cards like Delver, like Muldrifter, which are great in Pauper, but then you also get access to cards like Mana Leak and Counterspell and Force of Will, which are just great control cards. And then on top of that, you get stuff like card draw engines, right? Like, that's where I think the ability to get some card advantage is there, where it's not so much there in other colors, right?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. There aren't too many colors that get card draw like blue.
Yeah.
I remember when it was a big deal when in M12, M13 maybe, when they gave red card draw.
Yeah.
With like Scrounging Goblin or something like that. Like, that was a big deal because we alluded to in the beginning, there are effects that colors have and there are effects that colors will never get.
Yeah.
And for a while, card draw wasn't a red thing. Like flying will never be a green thing. I talk about it a lot.
Yeah.
Death Touch, I guess, won't ever be a white thing. I don't know what
Probably
white's
not.
like thing. But blue doesn't...
It sort of gets a lot of it, right? Like,
blue gets all of it.
Like, yeah, it's sort of unfair in that aspect, because you really do get access to everything. And
yes.
Just like, specifically with card draw, for instance, like blue is like straight up, I'm just going to draw cards.
Yes.
Whereas you mentioned like with red, it finally got card draw, but even in red right now, the general consensus is it's not just card draw, it's more like looting, where you sort of have to discard a card.
That's true.
In addition to drawing those cards. So like, you do get to get through your deck and get to the cards you need, but it's not card advantage in the aspect that you're not up a card.
Well, sometimes you are. Right?
Well,
like Tormenting Voice, Tormented whatever.
Right.
The one from Dragons, Cons, whatever.
Yeah.
You draw 2, discard 1.
That's true. And you can use that to your advantage, and that's good for that. But I just mean, like, you know, cards like Sphinx's Revelation, which I know it's blue-white.
Well,
but
it's only because of the life gain.
It's only because of the life gain. Yeah. Actually, the new... is it Pull from Tomorrow or something like that? Out of the new Amonkhet set is just X. Pure blue, and it sort of compares in the sense that it doesn't have the life gain, but you get to draw cards. And
as you sort of
I mean, you scale it to what you need. You get cards like Preordain, Brainstorm, which Brainstorm is notoriously one of the best spells in the game.
Right.
That just do net you cards. I mean, really, that's what it amounts to.
I like Ponder. Ponder, to me, when I saw someone play Ponder the first time, I was like, I want it.
Yeah.
I can't even play it in Standard, and I want it.
Yeah. Ponder's just great.
You feel
it's so good.
Whenever you get to pick apart your deck and look at things, scry for things, like, that feels cool.
It does.
Right? I think blue was also the first color to get scry, and then they gave it to the other ones. I could be wrong, but I remember Augury Owl, Scry 3, cards like that. And generally, their creatures seem underpowered, right? But considering all the synergy that blue has, like, we want to talk about making decks. You can make aggro decks in blue. One of the best aggro decks ever, Merfolk.
Yeah.
Is mono blue.
Tribal.
You could say blue-black, but not really in competitive Merfolk is it ever blue-black.
I mean, you look at Legacy, it's Merfolk with Spreading Seas, things like that. I mean, you just get tons of damage in for nothing, right? Like, really you don't have to pay very much. And
no, not at all.
You're right. You know, individually, the creatures aren't that impressive, right? Like, they're good, but when you put them all together is when you really get some of that value. And I think, you know, you can compare it to other colors in different ways, but I just think blue may not do everything the best, but it does a lot of things very well.
Pretty much everything.
And that's really cool. And I don't know. I really, really like blue. It's just my favorite. It always has been my favorite color.
I can tell. That's fine, yeah.
We might do a little, maybe on one of our Sundays, we'll do sort of an overview of the different colors and maybe what we think of each of the colors. But like, I mean, blue hands down is my favorite. I don't. There's no comparison.
That's fair. I like black for a lot of the same reasons.
Yeah.
Black is probably my favorite. Just because you kind of can control the aspect there of the game.
Yeah, black is definitely a controlling color.
But you also get like a bunch of things like demons, which are big, scary, stompy guys, which are really fun.
Yeah.
For forever, I've tried to think of a demon-only demon tribal deck, and the shame of it is it will never work.
No,
because
not really.
Demons are usually statted very strongly and have a strong effect, but make you pay for them in some kind of way, which is kind of Black's thing. Black is like Blue's best friend.
Yeah,
that is just kind of an asshole and makes you like pay for stuff. Right? It's like, yeah, you can have cards. You got to pay life for it though. So, yeah, you can kill a guy. You got to sack your own guy though. Like,
yeah.
It's blue, but not as good.
It is. It's blue, but with sacrifice, right? Whereas blue is sort of just, you can do what you want.
Like, fine. You got mana? Sure, do it.
Yeah, go for it. And I will say, being the blue player, I've played against a lot of people that hate being against the blue player.
Weird.
And
I've never met someone who hates blue.
Yeah, it's rough being against blue sometimes, especially if
it can be.
Yeah, like I'm not saying. You know, it's not undefeatable, right?
No,
like
no,
you can very easily beat it. There's just you really have to outpace it is the best way to do it. When it's like a control deck or something like that. When it's an aggro deck, you just sort of have to handle it like any other aggro deck. Mm-hmm. But the fact that you can do all of those things in just that one color is pretty amazing.
It is. It is. And I'll say probably except for Pauper, the creatures blue's creatures are outclassed. Usually,
absolutely.
It's when they're paired with bounce spells, counter spells, they have more value on the board because they have pretty much more longevity on the board.
And that's where you get into something like a tempo deck, which blue also does very well.
Yeah,
and
absolutely. I don't think you can build I'll say a competitive tempo deck without blue.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And
I could be wrong, and that's fine, but
honestly, we'll prove it. We'll probably do a tempo deck sort of rundown maybe on one of these Sundays also. Sure. But I think that blue definitely, the fact that you can sort of just get ahead with all these little cards that you wouldn't think are that good, but then you pair them with decent creatures at the beginning, and you sort of all of a sudden just get ahead. And then with all these draw spells, you get all the card advantage, and so like. It's just amazing, right? Like the things the interactions that occur are pretty fantastic. They are. And it is worth noting when you are against blue, there are quite a few creatures. There was actually one just printed in Amonkhet that gives your creatures uncounterable and things like that, which is just great against blue.
Oh yeah, of course.
And I think cards like that are worth noting when you are talking about blue, because those are the ones that maybe will nerf blue a bit, right? Like,
I mean, that's the thing, right? They played around with it in Theros, right? They had the Mistcutter Hydra, they had Skylasher from Gatecrash, things that were protection from blue.
Lockstone Smiter was in Return to Ravnica.
There was Savage Summoning, which gave the next creature card you cast, like, couldn't be countered or something like that. So things like that. But like, all of those aren't cost-effective ways of dealing with blue, right?
No, they're really not.
Because even blue can get around that. It's got Cyclonic Rift.
Well, that's the thing. You have bounce spells. You have different things. You can handle it in different ways. And
I will say, though, black can make a guy sack a creature. So
yeah, and that's pretty cool. But then you get into blue-black cards like Far and Away, which, if you don't know, is a split card. Far makes you bounce a card or bounce a creature back to an opponent's hand for like 2 in a blue or 1 in a blue, and then Away makes them sack a creature, and so you can get some really cool interactions there.
That's sweet.
My favorite interaction with that card is if they have a creature and a creature token out, you bounce the token, which they obviously have to sack because you can't put the token in their hand.
Correct.
And then you make them sack the other creature, and you get a 2-for-1 out of that one card. I love that. That feels very strong.
It's always going to be like a 2-for-1, but it's even better if you just kill 2 things.
Yeah, exactly.
That's great.
And that being said, blue on its own is very good, but I think it's worth noting too that there are different variations of control decks for different reasons. Things like Esper control, where they have white and black tossed in there. to maybe get some of those sack effects, things like Far and Away,
Sure.
or Chainer's Edict back in Pauper games and things like that, or
Sphinx's Rev too.
Sphinx's Rev, American Control, Red, White, and Blue.
That's a pretty cool deck.
It is a very good deck. You get access to all the burn spells, which means you control the game up until the late game, and then you just start burning things.
Which is super fun.
Which is fun, yeah,
I like
absolutely.
Lightning Helix a lot for that reason.
Lightning Helix is a great card. It is very efficient too. 3 damage and 3 life for two is just great.
Better or worse than Bolt, would you say?
I think it's situational.
Okay.
I think Bolt is generally better.
Okay.
Just because it's super efficient. You don't really have to, worry about your mana or anything like that. Right. It's just a red, so as long as you've got that. I think with Lightning Helix, it's a little bit harder to cast because it is 2 color. It's a white and a red.
Right.
And it costs more, but you do get the life gain. And so I think in an aggro, when you're facing an aggro deck, Lightning Helix might be a bit better.
Okay. That's what you're saying.
Just to give you an extra buffer.
Yeah.
But I think generally speaking, Lightning Bolt is probably the best.
Okay. Yes, I would probably agree.
But
okay, Kevin, real quick.
Yeah.
What's your favorite blue card?
Oh goodness.
Yeah. I know your favorite card. I want to know your favorite blue card.
Honestly, this is such a cop-out answer.
It's fine.
I really like Jace the Mind Sculptor.
Yeah.
Not just because he's the best planeswalker in the world. Fight me. But
I mean, Ashiok.
Ashiok does not compare. No.
Should kill him.
No.
Jace doesn't kill stuff.
Jace is just a win. Anyway,
yeah, it's true. Like, what other planeswalkers
Jace just you fate seal and win. But Jace is just a great card. But honestly, the reason I like him so much is because when I was into Magic when I was a little bit younger, sort of teenage years, Jace was first printed, and I happened to open him in a booster pack, and I was really excited about it. But being young and naive, I didn't know how good he was. I also didn't play any tournaments. As we've stated, I've never played a tournament of any kind, which hopefully will change soon.
It will, and you're gonna...
We're planning on doing a few FNMs soon. But, yeah, so I didn't know, and I ended up selling out of Magic at one point.
Yep.
And I sold to...
A dark day.
Yeah, I didn't... He wasn't a friend at the time. He became a friend. And an employer, actually. I worked for the card shop for a little bit, but
interesting.
He offered me like $15 for it when it was worth like $100. What? And me thinking, oh, this piece of cardboard is worth $15. Heck yeah, let's do it. I was really mad about that.
Are you kidding?
No, I'm serious.
That's terrible.
Yeah, it was bad.
I had no idea. That's crappy.
Yeah, it felt really terrible. But, yeah, that was rough. But now, I've thankfully since gotten back into it, and obviously I've pulled a couple Jaces from Eternal Masters.
Yeah. You've got 2?
2 Jace the Mind Sculptors. I'd love to get a playset, but...
Well, doesn't everyone?
Yeah, but I sunk a little bit too much into Eternal Masters, I think, already.
Okay. Yeah, probably. I don't know. Hey, I'll leave that to you.
Yeah. But probably my favorite. What about you?
I've got a favorite blue card. It's kind of like...
Is it Serum Visions?
Negative. Negative on that. It's kind of like picturesque of blue.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you its cost. What type of card it is. I want you to try to guess it.
Oh gosh, this is gonna go so badly, but okay.
I can even tell you the set if you want.
Okay, we'll get there. We'll see if I need it.
It is 1 blue.
Okay.
Instant.
Okay.
From Avacyn Restored.
From Avacyn Restored.
I'm pretty sure. I might need to check, but I am 90% sure it's from Avacyn Restored.
It's not like Dispel or anything like that, is it?
No, definitely not Dispel.
Instant.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
It's really funny to me.
Okay.
I'm checking to see if I'm...
Is it a playable card?
Depends.
So no. Okay.
I actually think I'm thinking of the wrong one, which is so funny. It's the card that says tap target creature, draw card, and I thought it was Fleeting Distraction.
Why is that your favorite card?
Because it's so indicative of blue.
It is, yeah.
It's like All right, my giant goblin who I've pumped a bunch is going to attack you before combat. Fleeting distraction. And I just picture this giant goblin ogre guy going, like forgetting what he was supposed to do, and the blue guy going, "I'll take that," and then just doing whatever else.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny. It's kind of silly, but like in final summation, to boil it down, that's really what blue does.
Yeah.
Is it takes away what you thought you were gonna do, and then gains something from it.
Yeah, that's generally how it goes. It is 100% the douche color of Magic. I will say that.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna own it and say that I love it.
I was gonna ask you about that, but that's fine. But it is generally pretty strong. You can make a deck worse putting blue in it, but
yeah, I mean, this isn't to say blue needs to go in every deck. There are plenty of decks that do not run blue that are perfectly fine and really great. When you look at standard right now, Mardu Vehicles is everywhere. There's not blue in that.
Some splash blue, but like for Saheeli, but
sure,
not many.
I do think also it depends on format. I think generally blue in standard is a lot more up and down, whether it's good or bad.
It's more okay, but you don't get the great card advantage spells. You don't get Ponder. But
right.
Maybe we'll reprint Ponder one day.
Maybe one day. But definitely in the legacy formats, you see blue everywhere. Force of Will, free counter spell.
Oh my god, Mental Misstep is nuts.
Yeah. Most of the Power 9 that is not the artifact stuff is blue. I think all of it is Time Walk, Ancestral Recall, and Time Twister. So yeah.
It's also the only color I think that says take an extra turn.
Right.
Except for Emrakul.
Yeah, that's another thing too. Like, one of the best things about Magic, I think, is that generally throughout the game, you can break all of the rules if you want to.
Yeah, I love
most of the rules can be broken in blue, though. I think is what really does most of that. And I'm not saying other colors don't, obviously, but I'm just saying like blue generally is the one that says like, normally you can only draw one card per turn. Well, no, I want to draw 5 more.
Right.
Sure, you're blue, you can do that. Or you just play a spell. No, you don't. I'm going to counter it.
Right.
Or, take an extra turn after this one. Well, that's not supposed to happen, but you're blue, so you can do it.
Yeah.
Like, it's just notoriously the best one. And feel free to argue. That's fine. But, I mean,
you could try.
Play against blue in Vintage or Legacy and see how that
goes.
Interesting
to see. We made Prism decks.
Prison decks?
Prism. Right?
Okay.
Or, no, sorry, mono decks. I'm saying that wrong, but have like a Prism game.
Okay.
Which color?
Blue. Like sort of culminate the best cards to represent those colors and see how we could do. That'd be pretty fun.
Be interesting.
Yeah. If you have a suggestion for that, for a card that should be going in those decks, let us know. We'll make that happen. But I think that
pretty much sums it up.
Yeah, that sums it up. It's a rough talk, but it's one that
it was a good talk.
All right, last crack a pack for now. What do we got?
Oh man, you all know what I'm trying to find. I've already looked at my rare. I sound discouraged. There's a really slippery Minotaur out there, and its name is Neheb. I just want to catch it. I just want to put a saddle on its back and ride it to victory.
But you're not going to today.
Not today. Today I have Legendary Creature. No. Today I have Temet, Vizier of Noctamun, Tutankhamun. Toots in common places. He's a 2/2 for 2, 1 white, 1 blue. He's a cleric that says at the beginning of combat on your turn, target creature token you control gets +1/+1 until end of turn and can't be blocked this turn. Okay. And then Embalm for 5.
Huh?
Yeah.
I mean,
that's okay.
Cool.
Yeah. I mean, I don't... If it wasn't legendary, I could see it being maybe inconstructed. But the fact that you can only get one of these...
Yeah, that makes it a little rough.
I understand why it's legendary. Like, you're not going to... If you print this card not at legendary and leave it at 2 mana, you see someone get like 2 of these and embalm 2 huge things.
Yeah.
And that's crazy.
Yeah, that would be insane.
I will say, though, one combo that I instantly think of is with the black-green planeswalker from Ravnica.
Vraska?
Yes, and her assassin tokens.
Yeah, that's true.
It's kind of nuts.
That would be kind of cool.
I
like it.
It's okay.
I mean, it's a cool card. It's not amazing, but it's a cool one.
It's probably like 75 cents.
Yeah, it's nothing special.
What you got, pal?
All right, well, I'm also looking for my gold card still, even after this episode, because I didn't get it.
You sound bummed.
I am a little bummed. I'm looking for Aven Mind Sensor. Instead, I got Glyph Keeper.
You like this card, though.
I do like this card. It's not great, but it's a cool card.
I sound like a mom who's trying to get her kid to eat soup.
You like that card, though.
But you said you like chicken soup. I thought you liked stew.
All right. So it is 3 and 2 blue for a 5/3 flying Sphinx. It says whenever a Glyph Keeper becomes the target of a spell or ability for the first time each turn, you get to counter that spell or ability.
Yeah.
You also can embalm it for 5 and 2 blue. The reason I like this is because it's just really hard to kill once you get it out.
It's true.
I mean, it's a limited bomb, but it's nothing crazy and constructed. It will not most likely see play, I don't think.
I don't think it's 5. If it was 4 for maybe a 4/3, probably.
Because it is so difficult to kill, but it's
right.
There are ways to get around this, even in Amonkhet. The Black Trial makes you sack a creature.
Yep.
And so it's not targeting it, and so that
right.
That's a way to get around it.
On indestructible, things like that.
So
that's a great way to do it.
There are ways that it dies in the set, and
right.
I think it just won't see any constructive play, but it is a cool card. I like it in limited. I know I've drafted it, I believe, once without you there, but I think we also drafted it once while we were doing it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's a cool card.
I will say, though, with the Flyers and Amonkhet, it will trade a lot of the times.
Yeah, and that's a problem, right? Like because it only has 3 toughness and the power level is fairly high in this set. It's gonna die.
Yeah, like I'm thinking Windrake, I'm thinking Aven, whatever it is.
Initiate.
Yes, thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
There is a lot that trades with it, so it's just not all that exciting. It is a cool card.
It's neat. It's nifty.
That concludes our Crack-a-Pack for this episode. Still on the search. We'll get there eventually. I've already gotten there once, so
shut up.
Not trying to say you're terrible at this.
Does that make you better, Kevin?
It makes my pulling ability of cards better.
Yes, you're a better puller than me.
No, I buy more packs.
That's also true.
All right. Well, with that, we're gonna get out of here for today.
Yep.
We will be back. What day? Today's Sunday's episode.
Tomorrow, Monday, right?
Monday. I believe it will be tomorrow.
Do we have a Monday show? Shoot. We do. We
gotta get going, well, with that though, we will be heading out. We appreciate you guys taking some time and hanging with us. If you have any opinions or anything on what your favorite color might be,
and we know you do.
Yeah, we know you do. Leave them down below. Comment. Tell us what you think is the best color, and tell us why. Yeah. I want to know why. You gotta have a good reason. Like
judgy McPants.
You can't just be like green rules and then that's it. Like I want to know why.
Sure you can. Green is so simple.
Charging Badger. That's why.
That might be all that they know how to say, Kevin.
Well, now you're just insulting them.
But green is so simple.
I mean, yeah, it is.
Well, but then there's red.
I mean,
then there's always red.
Charging Badger wins. End of story. That's the best card. All right. With that, for the third time, I'm going to say we're going to get out of here.
I'm sorry.
We appreciate you guys. My name is Kevin.
I'm Will.
And this has been It Resolves.
Go play some blue, but not with your friends.